Today we're going to be solving the equation by factoring. So first of all, we all know we have a graph, right? If you have a quadratic, it goes like this, right? So when we solve by factoring, we're finding the x-intercept. So like where it touches the x-axis. That's what we're trying to find. We have to find it with the equation. So with the equation we have x squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0. So the first step, right, is to make the equation equal 0. So as you can see, it already equals 0. But if there was like a number over here, you have to obviously move it to the other side. The next step is to take out a GCF. So what's a common factor that these three numbers have that you can take out of it? There's nothing, right? So move on to the next step. The next step is to do the x method. The x method is you look at this term right here, the middle term. There's a 4, put at the bottom, and then the first and the last term, multiply them. So 3, and then there's an invisible 1. 3. So the x method is you have to find what numbers multiply, what two numbers multiply to get 3, but add to get 4. And that would be 3 and 1, right? Because 3 times 1 equals 3, and 3 plus 1 equals 4. So now you're going to rewrite the equation, but in two different terms. I'll show you. So you're going to do x squared, and then the first number that you got right here, put 3, and then put x, right? And then new term, and then bring this one over, so it's just 1, x, and then bring down that term, plus 3. And then it still equals 0, right? Now you're going to want to take out a GCF of this. So that would be x, right? Because these have x in common. So you do like that. So if you multiply it out, it will equal that because x times x squared times 3 is 3x. So then do the same for this one. But as you can see, this one, there's nothing you can take out of it. So just take out a 1. So that'd be x plus 3. Alright. So now, you know if you did it right, if these two, the terms in the parentheses are the exact same. So just rewrite that. And then look at the terms on the outside. So it's x and 1. So just write x plus 1. Alright, now you solved it, but now you have to find the x-intercept, right? So what would make this equal? What would make this term equal 0? Like, what would x have to be, right? It would be -3, because -3 plus 3 equals 0. And then right here, same thing, it would be -1, because -1 plus 1 equals 0. So x is -3, and x is also -1. That's your answer. Welcome back to the video. Today we're going to be solving this equation right here. X squared minus 45 equals 4x. Now if you remember, the first step is to make the right side equal 0, or one of the sides equal 0. As you can see, it doesn't equal 0. So you're going to want to minus 4x on both sides, right? To get rid of that. So then just bring down the x squared. And you could put this before this. It doesn't matter what order, it's the same thing, as long as you have the right sign. So I'm just going to do minus 4x minus 45, just so it can be in like standard form. Instead of having minus 45 minus 4x, it's just better. Now the right side equals 0, so that's exactly what we want. Now we have to take out the GCF. As you can see, no GCF. So then move on to the next step, the x method. So remember, the b term is right here in the middle, put that in the bottom, and then the c and the a, multiply them. So 1 and -45, it's just -45. Now what two numbers multiply to get that, right? That would be -9 and 5, because if you multiply -9 times 5 is -45, -9 plus 5 is -4. That works. So remember, you're going to split the term. So bring down the x squared, and then write -9x, and the new term, and then 5x, and then bring down the c term, which was -45. And that will equal 0, of course. So now you're going to have to take out the GCF, right? The GCF is x. They both have x in common. So x minus 9. If you multiply that out, that's x squared minus 9x. Then you want to take out the GCF for this one, and that would be -5. Or that would be just 5, not negative. So x minus 9. Right? Multiply it out, 5x minus 45. Still equals 0. Now remember, you did it right if these two are in common. So write that term, x minus 9, and then look at the numbers outside of it, x and 5. So just write x plus 5. Right? And now it's fully factored. Now to find the zeros, or the x-intercepts. So we'll make this 0, it would be 9. And this would be negative 5. So your answer is x equals 9, and x equals negative 5, and that's your answer. The video, so we're going to be solving by factoring again, but this time we're going to do this problem right here, x squared minus 64 equals 0. So this equation is special, right? Because this is a perfect square, and there's no b term. So first of all, when we say a, b, and c, a is the term that has the exponent, right? B is the term that just has the x, and then c is just the constant. Because like, you know, when you have an equation, it's ax squared plus bx plus c, right? That's the quadratic equation, right? So if there's no b term, as you can see, it goes ax squared and then plus c. Then you're gonna do the square root method. The square root method is the square root method is easy, right? So all you gotta do is move this to the right side. So just do plus 64 on both sides, and that would be x squared equals 64, right? So now all you gotta do is square root it, because it's the perfect square. So then you get x equals plus or minus 8. It will be both, it's not just 8. You gotta remember, it's plus or minus. And that's it, that's the square root method.